By the end of this episode, Jippity Point's going to be complete, and you'll have seen that even though Thememaker's Toolkit gives you some fantastic items, you don't actually need them to make a decent, realistic park. There's a hidden secret too. You just have to watch to find out what that is. Well, here we are then, guys, the final build episode of Jippity Point. A finale, if you will. There's no Thememaker's Toolkit still in this park, and this is going to probably seem like a bit of an anticlimax because all of the big stuff is already in the park. We just need to deal with this final area down here, which we'll talk through in a moment. Now, none of the rides in this park have got names. If you want to name them, go back to the episode, pop it in the comments before the tour, and if you win, you will see it in there. But this is Jippity Point from the top. Now, we have the Planet Coaster Stutter back. Can you see it? Can you see it? I refuse to believe that a 4090 doesn't handle this game. This is definitely a Planet Coaster thing. So here we go. This is the final bit. It's probably just as well, right, with all the stutter and stuff that's going on. These are the final rides going in. So we've got the balloon ride. We've got the 360 power that's sitting here. Debated having this one because it's similar to the Pathos 3 that we've got, but you know, it's kind of this kind of park. And then over here, I've put the hammer swing in. Always wanted the hammer swing in this spot. And then I have put like a bit of a pier bit with the Ferris wheel, and then of course we've got a chair swing because why not. And then I am so sorry, I forgot to look who suggested it before I started recording, but there was a suggestion about there being a boat ride. So of course you need to have a boat ride, and that goes all the way over there and comes all the way back. Maybe in the olden days it would have come around this way and back again, but you know, it's here anyway. So let's get on with this, shall we? Final time, final lap, let's do it. Oh guys, this is going to be one of those really awkward and weird updates because I've just kind of looked back on this and thought, have I done anything? This doesn't look any different to how it did when I left it. But yeah, actually it's a day and a half's worth of work and there's lots going on. So there is plenty to talk about, I promise. I'm not just lazy. Plus we're about halfway through the episode, so we're all good to go. We're going to start over here if that's all right. So the 360 power, it's very there, right? I wanted this to feel like it might be one of the newest additions to the park. And I kind of want it to have a bit of a, I don't know, a generic feel to it. So it's devoid of all of its theming. It's just been placed there, and it definitely will feel different to how the balloon ride is, which is very much, you know, anchored into the ground, and it is there. And I think this is because it comes out into the water and stuff. So what I've done is I've just put some bricks down just to make it sort of like sit on a platform, and then I've just put the pathing around here and with the girders and whatever, the steel girders. I don't know whether I'm going to use the tread plate sign to make the floor or whether I'm going to actually have it as concrete. I haven't decided yet. I'll decide that when I come to it. But yeah, I just wanted this generic theme, but I also wanted to copy across the stuff from the front of the park here, right? So yes, it's plumbed in, it's permanent, but is it actually as permanent as it looks? That's the question. Balloon ride then. nothing major has happened here. I've just put the fences in and it's now ready for all of its flooring and whatever to go in, and then that'll clean that up, and a bit of tidying and stuff to do. Now over here, I toyed and toyed and toyed with this building. I wanted it modern, I wanted it wood, I wanted it themed. You'll notice that this area is devoid of theming, and I've actually decided to not theme the area. I've gone down the whole more generic-y type route. And this is what I've settled for, purely because it matches the same brick here and you get that consistency going through. But I've gone for a bit more of a modern style. What I wanted for this is that the toilets may have always been there, right? This was always in this spot, always raised up, etc. But the RMC has come in and they've put the pillars either side of the toilets. So it kind of nestles quite nicely inside there. So, oh, by the way, Treacher toilets! So what I'm going to do here is put in a bit more of a modern roof. I think I'm going to use the arch shapes as if it's like solid and stuff. A bit more of a modern roof going in here, and then make this a plaza area. And of course it's already fenced off and stuff, but I need to raise the fences and stuff. Inside, I actually want this to be a smaller toilet. So we've of course got all of the toilet doors, we've got the sinks and stuff, and then I've got active toilets in the background. I'm using the tile wall set. There's an actual tile wall set. I've been using Thememaker's Toolkit all this time. There's an actual tile wall set, would you believe? So I've decided to use that in here, and I'm going to use the panel flooring, you know, the tile panel flooring that I used in the actually I've used it everywhere along here, just to give a tile floor, and then of course I just need to do the floor here. So wow, that's a lot of talking about toilets. So what I've also done is I've started to do the nature around the outside, so all of the dirt and stuff is now going down. I'm using this quite a lot actually. I'm in danger of overusing it, but it's kind of needed when you want to get rounded edges that aren't the original pathway, so that's kind of what I'm going for here. And of course I've copied through, I'm just going to move out of the way of the screaming swing. There you go. So I've copied across all of the flower beds and stuff from the entrance as well, so now we've got a little bit of continuity from the entrance area too, so it all makes sense. Then we come to the screaming swing. This has not really had much done to it. It doesn't, again, it's all going to be devoid of theming. It's all going to be quite generic and quite sitting there. But I have started to do the pathway here, and you'll spot that I've got different dirt. So this is the burial mound turned upside down. It's that technique sitting here, and then of course you've got the other flower beds and stuff that are going on in here. But yeah, I want to keep this simple. I don't actually want this to be too much. Whether I put a queue path cover on here for the swinging and stuff, I don't know yet. I possibly might. I think I probably should, right? And then we're going to come over here to the chair swing. So the chair swing itself, I wanted this to feel a little bit more quintessentially English, bearing in mind that we are in England. So I wanted this to have like a bit more of a, I don't know, a traditional feel to it. Almost like this may have been here. In fact, this area has been here for a long time. That's why it's devoid of theming. It would have been put in when this place was an amusement park as opposed to a theme park. It's probably on the list of bits that now need to be done up, right, and rethemed and whatever. So I bet this area would turn into like a spooky area or something. But that's what I've done here. I've just put some fencing around here. This is the haunted house base, and then also the cast stone stuff with the flowers on top. I'm just taking the idea from the flowers that I brought forward from the entrance, right, just to give it that theme. And then I've started this idea of stacking two fences on top of each other. This kind of works quite nicely. I didn't want to use don't die fencing because you don't need it, but I wanted to have something more substantial, so that's what we've gone. That's what we've gone for there. I don't know if I'm going to do any more. I've seen like multiple different things, and I know that I'm going to end up stealing somebody else's inadvertently by stacking so many. There's only so many combinations, right, that you can stack. And then we come to this building. I kind of like this building, you know. Again, I wanted it to be a bit more traditional, and I've never in my history have I actually used the cast stone walls. I've used the pillars quite a lot, but I've never actually used the cast stone walls. So this is what I'm going for here. I want this to feel a bit more of like a fishing hut style restaurant, but I wanted an excuse to actually use the cast stone stuff, and then have a different interesting like building. I know this is a mess, right? I know this needs finishing and touching up and all sorts of stuff doing, but I like how this is turning out. I can just imagine there being some kind of motif up here. It's probably going to be the logo of the restaurant, whatever I've chosen to put inside. And of course, inside I haven't done anything with yet. I don't know if I'm going to be able to. I think this might be another one of those episodes where this is actually too small an area to do anything with. I'll see what I can do with it, because pathing and whatever makes it a little bit difficult. Then of course over here you'll notice that we've got the piers. So there's 3 of them. There's one there, there's one there, and there's one there. And that's because, as I've always said, I wanted to make a feature of the water, and remembering that this is an area that would have been here when the park first opened, I kind of wanted this to feel like this was the traditional pier area. So ignoring the fact that the RMC now races past it and the Screaming Swing is behind it, the Ferris wheel is there, this would have been like the primary place to come and have food. They wouldn't have necessarily been a dense part of the park here. So that's what I'm going for. That's why we've got these 3 separate piers. Maybe there was a 4th one here, and this is where the Ferris wheel now sits. But I didn't want them to be one continuous pier. I wanted them to be separate entities. So of course I need to make these wooden and do all of the usual stuff with it and make it make sense. But on the underneath, that's just showing that it doesn't hit the ground yet. On the underneath, I've just put all of the pillars and stuff there just to make it look like it should. I don't know whether I'm going to use concrete or whatever to put foundations and stuff. I don't know. I don't know yet. And then the last thing to show you is the fishing thing. So again, I did want this area here to have exclusivity to the views of the coaster that we've got over there, a family coaster we've got over there. But actually, this fishing pier kind of makes sense. I don't want this to be any more than this. Like, I don't want it to be oversold or whatever. It's just a boat ride. That's it. It's just a boat ride. So it just needs to have a simple awning, something nice and easy to pull together. Possibly even corrugated roof on here. Like, I do want this area to feel like an absolute juxtaposition of everything else in the park, right? Because this is, as I said, devoid of theme. It's all going to be quite generic. So I'm liking how this is turning out. And by the way, I've got a secret to tell you. There's something in the park that I've not shown you, and I'm going to show you at the end of the episode. So you're going to have to stay tuned. But in the meantime, I'll see you in a minute. There you go then, guys. With the last few clicks, we've got ourselves a bit of a seating area on the waterside. It's a nice, relaxing, cozy area, and I'm digging it. And do you know what? That also means that Chippity Point is finished. Look at it from the top. It's done, guys. Like, can you imagine? At Christmas, when we started the series, this was just an empty park, and now it's a fully fledged park. Yes. So let's have a look at the final area then, because there is lots to show you, but there's very simple stuff going on. So like this building, for example, came to life, just like the roof goes on and it's great. It's as simple as I wanted it to be. It's as effective as I wanted it to be. I love it, right? I think this is probably one of my favourite builds. It's just so simple. I decided not to do the inside, and that's because the inside is too small to work with. And I know I said this last week, and you're probably thinking, oh, that's such a cop-out. But if you want a usable, decent inside space, you need about 8 meters to be able to do that justice. This is only 4 on the inside. It's just too squashed, it's too squeezed. So Thememaker's Toolkit, of course, you can do all sorts of stuff because you've got different size seats and whatever that you can use. You can make it a thing, but when you're dealing with Planet Coaster stuff, the scale is just too big. So on the outside here, then we've got all of the picnic benches and stuff that have been all put out. And I kind of thought to myself, well, how do I want to make this area a little bit special? Because of course you've got decent views of the lake, whatever would be the other side of the lake, whether it's a town, whether it's countryside, whatever. We just have to admit that we just can't. We just have to use our imagination. And then you've got, of course, the RMC views and stuff. And I'm thinking, well, what makes this magical? And for me, it's always about this strip lighting, fairy lighting, whatever you want to call it, decorative lighting. That's for me how it is. Like when I went to Gardaland, that was just a thing that finished the park off for me. It was just walking through that area and it's just beautiful, beautifully lit. So that's kind of what I'm going for here. And then I've put it through a number of different areas. But yeah, ultimately you've got lots of seating. So you've got one here, and then of course you've got one at the back here as well. And that's just the purpose of the area. That's the whole design, right? And then the fishing wharf, I didn't do much to do with this one. I just stuck the roof on and it was all good, right? It doesn't need much more than this. I decided that I didn't want to fight with the game. I learned my lessons in World of New Muse and Royal Mile with the supports and stuff of this. It's just not worth fighting with it, so just let it be. Could have changed the colours, but actually I quite like it blue, so I just kept that as it is. But this this cover I did actually copy across to the Screaming Swing. There she is. Hello. Yes, and it's not a queue cover for purposes of shade. It's queue cover for purposes of closeness to the ride and things falling off it and stuff. So think of what happened to Rush at Thorpe Park and that kind of scenario. So what I did, I've just put a couple of bits of vegetation and stuff on the top here just to make it look I don't know, decent. I could have put netting and stuff. I could have put I'm going to move away. I could have put netting and stuff in this space, but no, I just decided not to bother and whatever. So it's fine. It works as it is. And of course, the path covers and stuff bring this all to life anyway. So this is all looking good. The foliage and stuff in the area has actually made this come to life as it always does. But I have left some breathing space, so I've intentionally left dirt and stuff here, whilst I've also bulked out a lot of the other stuff around. And yeah, I wanted to keep the foliage low. I didn't want too many trees because I didn't want it to feel foresty, but I also wanted there to be shade. So you can see there's trees and stuff in the area. There you go. And yeah, it works. So I'm happy with that. And with a low level foliage and stuff, it's all good. And then you've got the toilet block. Hello, toilet block. I love how this sort of generates a bit of a debate inside you when you look at it and thinking, well, okay, what came first? Was the toilet block here and they put the supports around it? Or did they build the toilet block in between the supports because that was the space that they had? And I love that. I love that thought. And I'm thinking, well, actually, the toilet block probably came first and the RMC came second. Think of like the Smiler at Alton Towers and how the supports wrap around that toilet block. But I just love how it sort of creates that whole drama, you know, oh, what came first? Yes. But if we have a look inside, hang on, change camera. Inside here, it's all finished. It's all done what you need to do. So you've got sinks and you've got the stalls, and then of course you've got lights on the ceiling and stuff. This facade, by the way, I've used a lot. I use this one because it's got a better texture and it's easier to work with than the flat art shapes are. It's got less of a dappled texture to it. So I think I'm going to be using this a lot more actually, because I quite like how it's turned out. And then of course I have just raised the fencing in this area, and this is going to be such an awesome spot to stand when the coaster goes by. Like, this is one of those Thuzy spots that you're going to sit there and go, yes, I love it, I love it, I love it. So yeah, have we got a train coming? I don't know if we've got a train coming. No, I don't think we have. Oh, I got excited then. I thought Chacho timing was back. And then we've already seen the planters and stuff. Oh, look, that's poor timing. Come on, Chacho, we should have known better. So, yeah, all the planters and stuff are all there. And then the balloons, I decided not to recolour these in the end. I was going to recolour them, but actually I decided to keep them the more normal colour. And in fact, there's a few deliberate decisions I've made with this park. Like, for example, nobody's noticed that this park is completely devoid of games and arcades, right? And this is definitely a park that would have that sort of thing. I've taken that decision to not do that, partly because it's difficult to do with in-game pieces and you need Thememaker's Toolkit for it, and partly because this kind of park, I don't know, it would have it, but I don't think it needs it. So what I might do is when we do the Thememaker's Toolkit pass, I'll add them in. There's plenty of spaces you can add it, right? You've got space sort of like along here. There's a bit of space over here that you could have done it. And in fact, some of the buildings could have been arcades. Like this could have been an arcade here. This could have been an arcade. There's plenty of spaces that we could have put them. So watch this space. We'll do the pass. And then we come to the 360 power, and yeah, this turned out quite nicely actually. It's simple, right? So I've ended up using this roof piece that I've never actually used before because it's got a texture and because it's got a seam, but this is perfect for this one. It comes with the Ghostbusters pack, and yeah, I can't remember what it's actually called, but it's perfect for this look. This is exactly what I wanted here, almost like it's some kind of asphalt tile. That's kind of the vibe that I was going for here, where it's on a suspended steel frame and they just put this asphalt tile down. I need to stop saying tire. Like, it's not a tire, it's a tile. So yeah, that's what I'm going for there. And then of course we've got the bridge, and the bridge just like brings the area together. I was sort of procrastinating doing it, but actually it's perfect. It's turned out really nicely. I wanted there to be a bit of class to this. I didn't want it to be jank. Initially I thought it was going to be a bit of a wooden structure and it's going to be a bit like messy and whatever, but actually no, now that Park has grown up, it needed something a bit more sophisticated. So rough brick, flowers on top, and then I've actually made a custom pillar. This is just the concrete pillar with the cast stone dipped into it, and it actually looks pretty decent. I'm happy. I'm happy with that. And guys, this is how it looks from the top. Now, you probably thought I'd forgotten that I was going to tell you a secret. I don't know if this is going to blow your mind or if you're going to hate the series as a result, but this secret has been hiding. Where's it gone? I've been hiding a secret that I now can't find. So, yeah, this park originally had a hyper. And I'm not even sorry. So, the hyper it was positioned roughly here, and in fact it was born of the fact that this is where the stand-up coaster and stuff was going to be, but it's essentially you would have gone up the lift hill into the first drop. This, by the way, hasn't been smooth. It hasn't been refined in any way, shape or form. This is just literally my placement that I did. So you would have come into the first drop, into a turnaround, and then it would have had the camelback hills and the turnaround coming out sort of this way, where you then had plenty of space here to put extra areas and whatever in, and then it would come into a turnaround, so it brought it round on a 45-degree angle, which then comes into the final the final airtime hills and then into the final brake run. So that was kind of the vibe that I had originally planned, but then the RMC came together, and you guys always ask me for an RMC over a hyper, so you kind of got yourselves to blame for this one. So there you go. Guys, thank you for your support this series. This has been so much fun. I have learned so much about the game that I had either forgotten or didn't know to start with. I found pieces that I didn't even think existed. So amazing. Like, this has been so much fun. Of course, if you do like the video, please like it, subscribe, comment, do all your usual stuff. We're going to go for a tour of this park next week, and then I guess we'll start a new series, but I don't know what that's going to be. But until we speak again, have a good week, guys. I'll see you next week. Take care of yourselves. Bye.